on YouTube as well as Instagram. We're just going to do, I guess, a news discussion, general Q&A. I didn't really look at, I looked at a lot of stuff, but I didn't, compile any sort of news or things that I wanted to go over today. There's, a decent amount of things that have happened since our last live stream a couple days ago. The big one that people are talking about is the New York State Bar Association suggested possibly mandatory injections. You know what? We have more, presidential election nonsense going back and forth. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, definitely bring it up. I did have a video planned out for sometime this week or next week, where I'm basically going to kind of outline everything they've kind of hinted and spoke about and used fear-mongering tactics. The only thing I couldn't find was, like, there were some studies done by the Russians, like, where if people are under psychological warfare or, like, basically fear-mongering in the media for more than 2 months, then it's impossible to change their opinion regardless of what you say. It's like trying to convince a religious person that, God doesn't exist. Like, it's not going to happen. This is actually something I was looking at. Hold on, is this the right thing? There was like a CIA brainwashing bullet point, and the 10 mental states required to be brainwashed were all things they've already done. I gotta fix my camera on the other screen, but it's basically 1, the feeling of helplessness and attempting to deal with the impersonal machinery of control. So basically, 1, a feeling of helplessness, which is, that you can't do anything, which is what they're trying to do. Number 2 is an initial reaction of surprise. So, people are obviously surprised at what's going on with it never happened in their lifetimes before. Number 3, a feeling of uncertainty and what is required of him. And the way they're giving people a feeling of uncertainty is they're being very vague. They're going back and forth on different topics. Number 4 is developing feeling of dependence upon the interrogator. And this is a key. Number 4, developing feeling of dependence upon the interrogator, which basically means, the average person feels dependent on the government, listening to every single thing they suggest or do. That's what the average person is. The average person is looking at the news every day, listening to the media every day, waiting on what to do. They've developed dependence on the government. A sense of doubt and loss of objectivity is number 5. So sense of doubt and loss of objectivity, obviously they're not thinking for themselves anymore, and they're doubting their own thoughts based on the information they're given. Number 6 is feelings of guilt, and they're basically trying to guilt trip people by not wearing, you're guilty if you're not wearing a mask, if you're going out to eat, if you're going to restaurants, if you're not sacrificing everything for the good of everyone else, they guilt trip you. Number 7 is a questioning attitude towards his own value system. So this is another thing. They're trying to say, hey, it's more important that the safety of other people, that's more valuable than your own well-being, your job, whatever you have. We don't care if you're homeless as long as we save the lives of someone from a fake illness. Number 8 is a feeling of potential breakdown, such as that someone might go insane. People are definitely breaking down in the context of what's going on in the world, especially how crazy and stressful things are. Number 9 is a need to defend his acquired principles. So that's a big one. Number 9, in the following emotional states needed to brainwash someone: a need to defend his acquired principles. So by virtue signaling to other people, by making yourself feel better, oh, I wore a mask, I did this, I did that, I'm defending. They defend, they develop the need to do what they develop, the sense of importance in what they're doing. And that ties in with number 10, which is a final sense of belonging, identification. They belong to the government. They identify with all the other sheeple, all that type of stuff. So there's CIA, all the government, all this type of stuff, psychological warfare they put in the news and media is things they've been doing for years and years and years and years. Did you see Rat Boy's post about healthy plant foods? No, I didn't, but I feel like in a way my YouTube channel is almost being held hostage by this guy because he literally copies every single thing I say and it's not stopping without repercussions. I don't know why this camera keeps going out of focus. This is ridiculous. Okay, there. Almost had it. Maybe I need more lighting in this room. I should just return this camera and get another one because this has been happening ever since I bought this thing. Oh, okay, we're good. Louis Pasteur created the germ theory, the theory that germs cause infectious disease. No, I was thinking about doing a video basically explaining that a virus cannot be transmitted from person to person. Put your hands next to your face. I'll try that next time. So do all of you believe Trump has controlled opposition like Frank has alluded to? Because I don't believe it's all the news is fake. Again, everything they're doing is you have to keep that saying in mind, order from chaos, that Masons practice, and then you also have to keep in mind what their end goal is. And then if you just keep their end goal in the back of your mind and what they're trying to do, as well as that every single thing they say in the news is to push towards that end goal, you realize things are fake. What's wrong with wearing a mask if I want to? Well, honestly, you can actually make one argument against wearing a mask, and that is the reason they want people to wear masks is to test the facial recognition software while people are wearing a mask. People think they are being anonymous by wearing a mask, but the reason they put these cameras up, the reason they're surveilling everyone, and the reason they want people to wear masks is because they want that facial recognition software to work while people are wearing a mask. How can we be happy in a country that doesn't care about us? Well, on one hand, it's called the New World Order. It's not called the New American Order. It's called globalist, globalist agenda, the Great Reset. This is not an American thing. I think, it's not going to be like you can escape to a country. Although I am a little bit curious. All of the Freemason assholes are moving to Texas. All the carnivore dieters, a lot of people moved to Texas. So Joe Rogan moved to Texas. Corn Faker moved to Texas. Rat Boy moved to Texas. All these pricks moved to Texas. They probably got some Wi-Fi free town, and they're meeting in their Masonic lodge every day, jerking each other off. Trump and Biden are both shills. They both flip their gender. We've gone over that many times already. Isn't there a bigger argument against the Jews than the Masons? I mean, Masons don't control the media. There was like there's like a hierarchy list someone sent me that we can probably look at. Listen, regardless of who's in control, what you really have to like, yeah, you could go over, okay, there's this secret society, there's that secret society, the Vatican does this group of people does that, whatever. The point is there's a bunch of crazy assholes in charge, and you have to do your best job to convince people of that and keep people in a positive mindset, because if people are in, and if the majority of people, what they try, if the way the world works is what the majority of people believe was what happens. That's why they try to convince people with the media and all that stuff. If the majority of people believe that injections are going to be mandatory, then it's going to happen. But right now, it seems like most people aren't going to get injected. And if most people believe they aren't going to get injected, they're going to have to use other ways to deceive people into getting it, or I mean, and honestly, the whole injection vaccine thing might just be a distraction from, them putting it in the food and water supply and spraying it in the air. Your channel stopped growing because you stopped focusing on nutrition. So you're gonna gaslight me on why YouTube has shadow banned me? YouTube took down a fucking video 2 days ago. YouTube's taken down 4 of my videos so far that I've exposed the agenda. Another video where I talked about hospitals being empty, they removed it. And to say that the reason my YouTube channel has stopped growing because I stopped focusing on nutrition is completely ridiculous, considering I have done at least 2 or 3 nutrition videos per week for the past like 4 years. So the pathetic attempts at gaslighting me and explaining why my channel isn't growing, when in reality it's because I'm not a Freemason loser and I'm not in the clubs that are deceiving people just to make money to buy their mansions. As I said in my Butcher Box video, Joe Rogan is living in a fucking $15 million mansion selling you feedlot beef. If that doesn't tell you something about the status of where these people's priorities are, I don't know what will. Why is it some places are getting hit hard now? I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if people, I don't know what's really going on. I don't know if the statistics are made up. I don't know if they're just changing the Wi-Fi tower frequencies in various locations. I don't know if they're trying to get people to do more testing. I don't know if schools or jobs or places of employment are mandating testing to artificially inflate the numbers. I don't know what is actually going on, but it becomes pretty clear that they have to fake it somehow, and they have to report on something, and they have to make more excuses to keep the momentum going into next year. I don't think I don't really think the concern should be the vaccines and getting injected. I would be more worried about them using that as a distraction and actually spraying it in the air and the water and the food supply. I would be more. I mean, and the fact that people are worried about getting vaccinated, yet they keep their cell phone on in their pocket all day, and they still eat like shitty food is ridiculous. I'm getting Fema Job Recommendations. Let's Google that real quick. Fema employment. Current Fema job openings. Let's see. Supervisory emergency management specialist, public affairs specialist, grants management specialist, instructional systems specialist, IT specialist, environmental protection specialist. That's not good. And they're going to throw people in a FEMA camp for eating steak. Emergency management specialist, emergency management specialist, emergency management specialist. You know what? You guys know what emergency management specialist stands for? If those concentration camps were real in World War II, that's what your job is, to make sure the prisoners don't go everywhere. Emergency management specialist. I like how they fucking word it. I don't know what all this. I mean, FEMA is hiring quite a few people. Emergency management specialist. Logistics management specialist. Guys, stop breathing. You're plagiarizing Frank's ideas. There's the Illuminati and Freemason pricks on YouTube, and all these other influencers are, like joking, oh, Frank Tufano thinks everyone plagiarizes him, which is completely ridiculous, because all I've ever really done on my channel is point out one specific person plagiarizing me, and not one of those people has pointed it out. It's completely obvious they're all in bed together, and they're all defending each other. I heard Pfizer is working on a vaccine. It's supposed to be 90% effective, but distribution is going to be a problem. See, all that shit in your mind, it's fucking rotten garbage, because the vaccine, if there is a vaccine, which there likely is, it's been created for fucking 10 years now. They know exactly what's in that vaccine, what they need to do to modify your DNA, and what they need you to do to think a certain way. Let me see if I saved, I either saved the image or I saved a URL to the image. I don't want to bring up images on this live stream. It's too much. I don't have my camera set up properly, but the point is, it showed like, oh, in the future, your baby's gonna have like 7 fucking electronic devices attached to them, because it needs to monitor anything. Oh, this monitor is gonna tell you if your baby's hungry. This monitor is gonna, and then on the person there were like 10 of them. Like the person had a fake pancreas and like a microchip in there to test their biological signs to see if they're sick. That's literally, they've planned all this stuff out. They plan on literally injecting people and chipping people to tell if people are sick. And then if you're sick, they're going to say, oh, you have to get medical treatment. And these devices that they install on people, they make people sick. It's completely crazy. If that ever happens or comes to fruition, it's going to be insane. It's insane. Once you become dependent on the medical, they're going to make people, people are already dependent on the medical system, but now they're going to force people. People have been brainwashed and convinced to participate in the medical system and take all these medications and go to doctors, and they're going to force it. Whole carbon credit bullshit people have been talking about. Yeah, it seems like the environmental stuff is the second big. So you have the Toyota Corolla, which is being used to control everyone. The second agenda that's really getting big is the environment stuff. They're going to use the environmental stuff and say, "Oh, meat is so bad," to force people to stop eating meat. I think with all the crazy shit going on, making meat illegal to eat or limiting meat consumption is not out of the realm of possibility. I think the injection is here, and they're just calling it a flu shot. Again, listen, like for me to know exactly what's in these things is beyond my capabilities. Has anyone legitimately obtained one of these vaccines and taken it apart and analyzed it and actually summarized what's in it? I think the only people that actually know what's in these vaccines are the people that made them, and under no circumstance are, you could ask them what's in it, and they're going to give you an ingredient list, and if you look at that ingredient list, you're going to say, hell fucking no. I was reading something from a lawyer that said, like, okay, well, if you don't want to get injected, when you go to get a vaccine, or if there's a mandate, like if you write up a contract saying making the doctors and medical personnel liable for anything that happens to you after you get the injection, they won't sign it. And these companies, one major red flag from these companies is the main thing they do is they do not take there's no liability for vaccines. There's no liability. Once you get injected, it's not, whatever happens, you can't sue them. That's just how it works. That's how things are crooked. And just the simple fact of that, it's crazy that people even suggest it. Oh, you spend all your carbon credits for the week, no more meat. Yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy what they, and all of that stuff, like every single thing they're doing makes sense. It's all lined up together. Having all surveillance, if you have smart cities, if you have cameras everywhere, if you have surveillance, if everyone's microchipped, if you're literally monitoring their vital signs, if you can tell every single thing they eat, it's gonna be like, if you Google, that's what China has. China has the social credit system. Let's look that up. CCP social credit score. The social credit system is a national reputation system developed by the Chinese Communist Party. The program initiated regional trials in 2009 before launching a pilot with 8 credit scoring firms in 2014. By 2020, it is intended to standardize the assessment of citizens and businesses' economic and social reputation, or social credit. Initiatives calls for the establishment of unified record system for individuals, businesses, and the government to be tracked and evaluated for trustworthiness. Initial reports suggested that the system utilized numerical score as reward and punishment mechanism. Recent reports suggest there are, in fact, multiple different forms of social credit system. Okay, this is fucking crazy. Because if they chip everyone, if they monitor everyone, and they say you have a social credit score now, the main problem is these people in fucking control are the ones judging you. They write the fucking laws, and these Freemason, Illuminati, secret society assholes are exempt. They're basically taking the masses. This is basically full control of the masses. What they do, what they think, what they're able to accomplish in life. And this is basically gating everyone if they weren't already gated enough. If people weren't already poisoned enough and already had so many negatives. What do the elite eat? I'm sure they have the best quality foods. I mean, you read all the time about them going hunting, having food in their own gardens, stuff like that. Why does this keep going out of focus? This is like... That doesn't work either. This is so stupid. I don't know. I'm going to return this camera. Why does it? Is there not enough light? What's the deal? Do I have to go completely off camera? This is. I just feel bad for old people. If you're young, maybe things blow over and you can live a normal life. If you're old and don't have much time left, you have to spend the rest of your life like this. What are you talking about? This is going to be this is it. According to Sverige, they drink baby blood. Fucking Sverige drinks baby blood. Why would you listen to that lunatic? A big part of what they're trying to do is the young people are regardless of the rest, whatever resistance is left in this generation, the babies and children and youth are going to be completely brainwashed into this system. There's a video with the World Economic Forum released yesterday saying they need to change the way capital is right now, not just financial, but human capital. Yeah, there was someone sent me a tweet from 2013 that the World Economic Forum tweeted, and one of the things in the video was, in the year 2030, you will own nothing and you will be happy. I don't know how. I mean, they're gonna have to do some. They're gonna do some wacko shit if they plan on taking everything away from people. Don't forget forced sterilization due to oxidative stress from the environmental diet and EMF. Yeah, with the smart cities and the high if the Wi-Fi levels are high enough and the diet is poor enough, people aren't going to be able to reproduce. People aren't going to even be able to fucking sleep. So I don't know if reproduction is a priority if you can't even sleep. Watch call to action, resetting the social construct. Jobs reset summer 2020. At 4:40, he literally talks about using human capital. Agenda 2023, they want full control of humanity. If this really goes on for the rest of our lives, how do you recommend people push through to be able to live somewhat of a fulfilling life? You have to kind of focus on what your goals are and stay positive and try to achieve them. Because a lot of the fear mongering and what they talk about in the media is to keep people focused on the negative and what they want. Guys, I'm gonna think Biden's gonna do something against meat. Again, the elected officials and all these people are simply puppets. I think taking away meat and removing meat consumption is a major part of the agenda because without meat, people will have reduced neurological function and all sorts of health issues. So reducing meat and removing meat consumption ties in with it. Someone told me Robert Downey Jr.'s Instagram story. And he's like pushing the fake meat crap, saying, oh, same environmental bullshit. Oh, animal agriculture takes up too much of our planet. We're just going to produce fake meat for everyone. It's ridiculous. They've been putting fake trees, aka 5 grams towers, all over my city. I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy that they're still setting up the infrastructure for these smart cities and everything. Aren't you afraid of being called an anti-Semite? I mean, I've never said anything negative against Jews. There's quite a few. I think that's another distracting agenda. I don't think the people that are in charge of it. It's like instead of talking about Freemasons and Illuminati, people try to talk about Jews, but that's not the truth. The real people running the show are the secret societies. Guys, I'm just going to wrap up the Instagram live stream because my phone's about to die. I didn't charge it. Most people are smart enough not to take the injection, but don't question 5 grams. Well, that's the main problem, is that people are still going to be using a cell phone. They're still going to be getting cooked by their 7 Amazon devices in their homes. And just one thing people have to understand, and something I should probably make a video about, is that the human brain is electromagnetic. The human brain gives off its own electromagnetic fields. Once you understand that the human brain is electromagnetic, then hold on a second. Cell towers emit electromagnetic frequencies. 5 grams towers emit electromagnetic frequencies. Cell phones emit electromagnetic. All these devices that they're in control of, they all emit electromagnetic frequencies, so they can certainly get you to think and do certain things. And most people are not aware of that, and they're not intelligent enough to remove those factors from their lifestyle, and therefore they don't achieve, well, that's why we're in the situation we're in now. I understand the symbolism and gematria is there, not gematria. But how do you think offing Biden is going to further their agenda? Again, think about it. If you off Biden and you create more chaos and you can't just have some, it doesn't make sense for someone like Kamala Harris to instantly win the presidency when someone like Joe Biden's been around for 30, 40, 50 years. There's explanations behind everything. They've set up the perfect system to continue Corona for years to come with no one expecting anything. It's literally the best invincible weapon. No, and the video that I plan on, the video script that I wrote for next week is, I literally said that in my video. I literally say, this is the perfect fucking tool for a tyrannical government. A fake illness is the perfect tool for a tyrannical government. An illness is so deadly that you have to get tested to even know if you fucking have it. I see 5 grams towers on the major highways. They space them out every 3 miles. Yeah, I did a video a couple months back. You're getting cooked while traveling on commute. And a video I didn't make yet is that I wanted to make was how there's going to be a trucking crisis because all of these truckers and people on the highways are getting cooked by these new cell towers all fucking day. Biden won't be offed. He'll just be sent to where George Floyd is chilling. Well, that's another part of the conversation. They're probably all in Antarctica or some shit eating whale meat. I use Jeffrey Epstein as my Kahoot name. What was really my favorite tweet I think ever. You guys remember there's a Kim Kardashian. There's a Kim Kardashian meme like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and let me find it so I can read it. It was like, I'll just bring it up. Hold on, let me see if I could adjust this. Let's remove that. It's a, my Twitter is very if social media wasn't silenced and Twitter was legitimate, I would have like 10 billion followers because I'm the funniest dude on Twitter. Why do you think the media is blaming China for everything right now? I mean, I don't really see. To me, I'm so into this. To me, the understanding of the understanding that I've developed on what's going on in the world right now. Sometimes I just look past very simple things like, oh, why is the media blaming China? Well, that could be something as simple as a divide and conquer tactic. Divide and conquer is just something that is used to create division between races. And the reason they do that is because, if humans realized we're all the same, then we wouldn't want any of these assholes in charge. Like, okay, why the fuck are you telling me what to do if we're all made of the same stuff? How far do 5 gram waves travel? If you can see the tower, they go several miles. The reason I know this is because I was looking at a slaughterhouse in Pennsylvania that was for sale, and there was you could almost not see it. The tower was so far off in the distance, you could almost not see it. It was like a tiny, tiny, tiny dot. But the radiation levels where I was standing were high. It's like having a cell phone next to my head. So if you could see the tower, if there's nothing obstructing the tower, that's why they build them so tall above the trees. What's your hypothesis on Area 51? Again, it's a distraction. You know, there's many, many more secrets that were... there's many more secrets than just aliens that they're keeping from people. I was watching a documentary on Giants the other day, and I can't find it. I forgot what it was called. But, you know, some of these megalithic, gigantic stone structures they built, you know, were defaced by the government to prevent people from thinking someone built them. They're saying like they're naturally occurring structures. And to my understanding, geologists as well as anthropologists and anyone involved in digging up fossils and all that sort of bullshit, their job is actually just to hide the truth from the public. Like, that's literally like the Smithsonian. What is that what it's called? Where it has all the Smithsonian, the world's largest museum and research complex. Yeah, basically their job is to just hide history from people and shape history, what people believe is the truth. I'm having problems with my uterus. They want to scrape the lining. I couldn't breastfeed my baby. Yeah, I mean, there's probably a bunch of lifestyle factors you want to address first. You know, have you reduced the Wi-Fi in your environment? Have you adjusted your diet to balance nutrients? Started taking a B complex and it's fixing all my health issues. How could I have been deficient eating a diet high in animal foods? The B vitamin profile, well, you might not be absorbing or digesting them. You know, at face value, it seems like, yeah, well, if you're on a carnivore diet and you're consuming only meat, you know, the amount of B vitamins on paper, you should be not be deficient in B vitamins, but the B complex is highly bioavailable and is instantly absorbed. So if you had like gut issues, then it could help. Do you believe that Antarctica, there's an entrance to another world? I don't really give a shit, to be honest. It's not important. There's also things like these deep underground military bases, these DUMBs, where allegedly like the elite people have all these types of cities and stuff. Like, I don't really give a shit. It's not important. You know, you got to kind of take things back a step and just try to open people's eyes to what's really going on. And then, you know, as you find out about stuff like that, like underground military bases, did aliens exist or that type of shit, it becomes actually believable because of all the other stuff they're hiding. You know, the very basic thing that the average person needs to understand is that the elite, people refer to the elite all the time. The rich people, this, that, the rich people, but the elite aren't usually referred to as a bunch of psychopaths that rule over us. And once people start referring to them as a bunch of psychopaths that make the rules, then you understand, okay, how are they all connected? Why do they know each other? And that's where you open up the rabbit hole of, you know, the secret societies these people are a part of, how they literally keep everything to themselves. And when will they completely censor the internet? Probably soon. But the reason I was able to figure out about these secret societies is what I'm complaining about now. This asshole Paul, how the fuck is and I'm going to talk, I might talk about this in a video. How is this asshole Paul Saladino able to literally just say every fucking thing from my YouTube channel and not get any repercussions? This guy has so many fucking secret society connections, and everyone's in bed together. Not only you know, no one's defending me. There's not enough. What he has behind him, his ability to censor the comment section, pay people to post fake comments on my channel. He has everyone in his pocket, so no one's going to speak out against him and promote me. Now, you would assume with the dozen other carnivore YouTube channels, someone would have sided with me for some type of benefit. But no, all the vegans, all the carnivores are just talking shit about me. Not that my fucking 4 years of helping people was plagiarized. And that's how I found out about these secret society assholes, because I couldn't figure out, why would all these people be against me? Why would all these people be against me if I've only called out one person? You know, imagine you join a basketball team or something. I don't know what a good analogy for this is. Imagine like, what's something that's openly competitive to everyone? Let's say you start playing cards, right? Let's say you go to a card playing group and you say, hey, I think that guy's counting cards, you know? And it's a group of 6 people. And you say, hey, I think that guy's counting cards. And you keep bringing it up to like the other people. You bring it up to the other 4 guys. And they all don't care. They all keep their mouth shut. What you didn't know was that all those 5 guys went to school together and they're in the club together and they're just ripping you off for your fucking money. That's basically what happened to me. But most people aren't able to figure out that they're part of those societies. How did I figure out? Okay, so the way it happened was, even when I made the video calling out the carnivores, initially, I didn't know about the secret societies and all that type of stuff. What happened was, one of my viewers sent me a video, a long 3-hour documentary about the symbolism and secret societies and how those people rule the world. And I was like, oh, well, you know, and then after I saw, you know, Michaela Peterson wearing fucking Egyptian symbolism t-shirts, like ridiculous shit, you know, it became pretty obvious that, all right, these people are part of a secret society and that's why they don't want anything to do with me. Freemasons work with demonic spirits and perform black magic throughout history. Let's be honest, it's just a bunch of dudes that like jerking each other off in a sauna. That's really what it is. They're not fucking special. Frank, look at Rat Boy's last Instagram post. I cringe how he tells people to go get their own ideas and to not get offended by his ideas. That's fucking hilarious. Let me see. I might have him. I have him blocked on Instagram. I don't know if I'll be able to view his Instagram. Maybe if I'm not signed in. This guy can go fuck himself. Of all the discussion, I reached out to Nora Gagatis over a year ago to have her on my podcast, and she didn't respond. And the second I fucking mention her in a video, he has her the next week. They're all in fucking bed together. No sound. I muted the sound intentionally. He's a prick. He's a Freemason asshole. What do you mean no sound? You guys can hear me now? Oh, there's no sound on the other. Oh, I'm sorry. All I said was shit. I basically said that well, people are stealing. They can't. When people are talking about his ideas, they're actually talking about my ideas. And I also mentioned that I reached out to Nora Gagatis, who is actually probably a man, but that's a whole different discussion, to be on my podcast. But then she was just on his podcast the next week. Hold on, let me show you guys another thing I was gonna. I'm not sure if it's exactly 33, but one of the shirts he was wearing. I mean, I don't know if this makes sense, but look, it's a triangle and there's 33 squares in it. Yeah, but is it exactly 33 squares? Like, am I reaching with this one? Like, those 3 things in the top right count as a square, or are there 33 squares in his triangle for 33 degrees of Freemasonry? I might be reaching with this one, but I mean, either way, it's a fucking triangle. You know, the triangle symbolism is very obvious, but are there actually 30? Did they actually put 33 fucking squares in the triangle? I don't think so. I think it might be coincidental. I think it might be coincidental that there's almost 33 squares in the triangle that he has. Portland Antifa got their connections doxxed with Wi-Fi hotspots to Honeypot. What does that mean? Antifa, to my understanding, would be low-level Illuminati members. To my understanding. What causes loss of taste and smell? Someone in my family tested positive for Corolla. It's radiation poisoning. Loss of taste and smell is radiation poisoning. How are people in Times Square not dropping dead? Because they can make people drop dead. They can make the frequencies high enough on these devices. It does end at 33 though. I don't know. I might just throw that in my video just to stir up some shit. It doesn't really matter. It's already a triangle. The triangle symbolism is enough. Why Illuminati and not Mason? From what I've heard, I mean, you could be a member of both secret societies. You could be both a member of the Illuminati and a member of Freemasonry. But usually, in order to be a Freemason, you have to have some thoughts together. Like Sverige would probably not be a Freemason, or at least if Sverige, to get invited to join Masonry, you have to be actually fucking smart. Like, that's why a lot of the entertainers and certain social media influencers are just Illuminati. And they might still be very, very high level influential people. It's just, to my understanding, in order to be in Masonry, you have to have some type of thoughts in your head. You can't just be like some fucking dumb, like OnlyFans bimbo railing dudes every day. Like, that's not going to make you a Mason. Well, one, females can't be Masons, but that being said, most of the females nowadays are dudes, so go figure. Basically proof of connections to George Soros, funding, who's behind their ninja masks. I don't know. This secret society stuff is something we just end up talking about every day, and I don't really want to bring it up directly on my channel. Although I've done it kind of indirectly, you know, I put the Ordo Ab Chow, Order from Chaos stuff, but I've never spelled it out as I have on the live streams on this channel. This is you know, the raw tards have really been active lately. Some dude was saying frozen meat is 8% toxic. It destroys your cells. So generally speaking, if you guys hear something from a John is Vonderplanet's raw tard followers and they can't explain what's behind it, you should probably disregard what they're saying. Females can be Masons. They're called Eastern Stars. They got separate lodges. Yeah, it's a separate organization called the Eastern Stars. Therefore, they are not Masons. How did they get invited? Like, did they receive a DM on Instagram? To my understanding, to get invited to Freemasonry, you have to join a very expensive gym like Equinox, and then you just start jerking off in the sauna, and eventually you'll get some connections. What's the best food to eat the whey protein powder with? I feel like water would be bland. Yeah, the whey protein to me is just a suggestion for you guys. I'm not saying like you should definitely include it in your diet. You know, try it out, see how you feel with it. What was your question specifically? Water would be bland. I would make a smoothie with some fruit. Ritual sodomy is how you get into Masonry. Yeah, that's why I said go into a sauna and start jerking off. Whey protein shake. You could put it in raw milk. Just think of any smoothie. Go watch some vegan videos for. Actually, don't go watch vegan videos for inspiration because vegans are vegan shakes taste like shit because they put all this type of dog crap in them. Fucking, they make like a nice blueberry smoothie and then they throw some spinach in it to ruin it. There's some fucking angry low-level Freemason or like Illuminati person angrily like recording this like, I only did that once. I only do that once a month. It's fucking. I think it's more about um you're doing things that like kind of go against the will of what you actually want to do. How do you feel eating that much food? I feel like shit all day for the most part. I'm hoping that I can move out to a farm property or something soon and just get back to working more physical stuff every day. Right now I'm wasting half my day because of how tired I am and how much food I'm eating, but hopefully if we're able to buy a slaughterhouse or a butcher operation and a farm, I'm able to do some hands-on stuff and work for 5, 6, 7 hours a day. Whether helping around on the farm, helping around in the butcher shop. I work for a phone store and they literally have a 5 grams box in there frying us up. Yeah, not good. Is ice cream good for you? It's made with quality ingredients. What's the worst case scenario for all of us in the next year? I mean, I don't think everything's going to happen instantaneously. I think it's going to be a several year process. Someone said you use steroids because your testosterone levels are high. The fact that people are accusing me of steroids when half of the fucking fitness influencers are inverted gender trans people taking more testosterone than I could make in a fucking lifetime is completely fucking crazy. Like these female fitness these fucking female fitness influencers that were born biological males that have fucking abs and an Adonis belt and are telling their female viewers what to eat when they're fucking shooting themselves with all types of fucking hormones and they're biologically male is absolutely fucking crazy. Same with the male influencers that are biological females that inject so much testosterone they're actually more muscular than a biological male. Like these fucking people are the ones accusing me of using steroids. And if I started saying that shit, I would get 100% kicked off YouTube. There's a scenario where I get really popular and famous and people just call me crazy, but depending on how intelligently I can convey that to people, if it's believable, they're just going to kick me off. The fact that if anyone's going to accuse me of steroids, I'm 100% going to start talking about inverted gender fitness influencers, and that'll shut them up real fucking quick. You're the best proof of natural bodybuilding there is on YouTube. Yeah, the main reason I think that is because it's been, what I've done is documented, and all of these other, like, the really high-level natural bodybuilders, it seems like they're kind of closed off and kind of fishy shit. Breaking news, Toyota Corolla now found to bind closely to animal protein and worsen symptoms. Say goodbye to meat. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of ways they could take away meat. Do you think they'll make the vaccine mandatory? We spoke about this earlier on the live stream. Again, I think the vaccines are a huge distraction. I don't think they physically have to inject things into people to get them sick or do whatever. If smart dust is real, they can just spray that shit in the air. Yeah, once you start getting into that female to male transgender stuff, and you start realizing that half of there's This is the I've talked about that several times on the live stream. To loosely summarize that, which is probably a gross simplification, these people in charge, these secret society psychos, their manuscripts go back to worshiping Inanna Ishtar, which is basically a transgender goddess. And they believe the transgender goddess is the unity of man and woman. So in order to worship that goddess, they invert their own genders. So like people might, this might sound crazy to you that Donald Trump and Joe Biden are biological females, but they've been giving them hormones since they were babies, basically, and it can be very difficult to tell. I mean, most fucking morons can't even tell like the very obvious transgender people, let alone if someone started transitioning when they were young or a baby. But there are still key biological traits and figures that are identifiable in the female body versus the male body. Why would they want to chop off their private parts? I mean, hey, why would they want to drink baby's blood? Why would they want to? Why would they want? Let's ask a few questions. Why would they want to radiate people and make them sick? Why would they want to put fluoride and chlorine in your food to poison you? I mean, what's a feasible answer to that? They're a bunch of psychopaths. They're a bunch of evil fucking psychopaths in control that are only in it for themselves, and they get off on that stuff. And it can be hard for the average person to believe that. It can be hard for the average person to want to do something like that. I mean, I'm not like it's not like you're a soft person for not wanting to do that. Like I've butchered animals before. I have no problem taking the life of an animal, but I understand the value of that and what it's worth. And something as criminal as what these people allegedly do in their secret societies, like abuse and murder children, if someone puts their morals aside to do something like that, that's what these people do. It's hard for the average person to think, and everyone has a price, and their price could be really low. But if someone values what's right and what's wrong, regardless of what the price is, there's no reason you should do that wrong act. But these people have beliefs where, hey, the Aztecs did that shit too. The Aztec someone probably knows in the chat, the Aztecs were like cutting babies open at the tops of pyramids and shit. And all of these secret societies, this Freemasonic stuff comes from the Aztecs. It comes from the past history that they've hidden from us. Are the new video game consoles going to be putting out radiation? They probably already are, but it's probably just higher levels. Mr. E talked about that. He's a shill for Christianity. It's part of the deception. A lot of the disinformation is actually true. So what happens is people will tell you the truth about something, but then push you towards Christianity. I mean, to me, Christianity can be debunked if you Google what age did Jesus die at. It's fucking 33. How do we know Jesus died at 33 years old? We know that Jesus was crucified at 33 AD. Hold on a second. So there's 33 degrees of Freemasonry, and Jesus was crucified at 33 AD. Is that not enough of a red flag to completely debunk religion for you? That these people fucking created Christianity. Do you understand how far back this shit goes? Now I'm getting close to 30. These people have planned this shit out for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Planned out for thousands and thousands of years. One interesting thing to me is, if these giants and these people existed hundreds of years ago, think about a giant. A giant probably lives, Gilgamesh is probably an obvious one, right? Gilgamesh, is that his name? The Epic of Gilgamesh. Basically, he was a king. Sumerian king, major hero in the ancient Mesopotamian mythology. Yeah, Gilgamesh is basically a giant. This will probably ring some bells. So, hypothetically, if giants did exist, they would have probably lived several hundred years, right? Their lifespan might be 200, 300 years, and they would have extraordinary memories. So, I think whoever is in control of this planet, our past history, the mental capabilities of these people is definitely far above what we have right now. There was a quote from that giant documentary, which I'm not sure is true, but basically said the giants were too strong and long lived, so they made the giants extinct and created regular man. You believe in evolution? No. No proof for it. There's no proof for evolution. Because if you take any sort of short life animal and you change its diet for, if you take a fucking fly that lives, if you take a fly that lives one day, and you start feeding it different stuff and changing its environment, the fly isn't going to evolve. It's just going to go extinct. I don't believe in evolution. If evolution was real, they could probably replicate it on some sort of level with shorter lived animals. Now, I do think if you take a specific race, of humans like the Italians, and you feed them a certain diet and put them in a certain latitude for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, those humans will develop different features. Some will be taller, some will have different facial. There's a great image. Let me see if I could find it. I have it on my Twitter. Frank Tofano, Twitter, Plains Indians faces. Here it is, yeah. So I'll show this image, but I can't talk while it's up. These facial characteristics were determined. They're all very similar. They look kind of similar, but depending on what food they were eating for hundreds and hundreds of years, it literally changed how their face looked. So depending on they all look human, and they do have pretty different facial features. But if a human eats a certain diet for a certain period of time, their features change. Doesn't equal evolution, though. No, that's the point. Why are the farmers agreeing to put 5 grams on top of their silos? I see them all the time in Germany. Not Germany. What the fuck am I saying Germany for? In New Jersey. Well, speaking of Germany, they're probably doing the same thing in Germany. I'm just trying to think of why I would say Germany. You know what? Maybe they wouldn't do it in Germany, because the reason they're putting the 5 grams towers on the farm silos in New Jersey is because listen, land is expensive, and these people probably get they get fat fucking checks every year to have that stuff on their property. In Germany, though, land is so cheap that I don't know. I mean, either way, farmers aren't making a lot of money. Farmers usually have the production. They usually don't have a direct to consumer market. Sid, I don't know who that is, but generally speaking, if anyone calls me out, the answer to that is they're low-level Illuminati shills. The average Pacific Islander was over 7 feet tall. Yeah, I believe that. Who is the guy that had really good facial development and used him for one thumbnail for one of your live streams? What is it? The Superman actor? What was his name? Not Superman. The Tarzan actor, Brandon. What the fuck was his name? Maybe not Brandon. What the hell was the guy's name? Holy shit. Someone probably knows. He might. I think he did play. Hold on. Let me just look up Superman actors. I think he did play Superman. Matt Bomber, no. Dean Cain, Christopher Reeve, Tom Welling. That was it. You're talking about Tom Welling, right? That probably had I think out of all out of at least from like from a white male perspective. You know, it's unusual to see this level of facial development in a modern person. Is it perfect? Is it close to the Native Americans? I mean, you could say so. Someone maybe 2 3 years ago sent me a video of There was a Swedish village, and one of the young Swedish men, they had a quick shot of him like on the camera, and his face looked like it looked like a literally looked like a marble statue. The way his face was, it looked like handsome Squidward. His face almost looked fake. Did Frank discuss the soon coming vaccine? Yeah, the first majority of the live stream, first 20 30 minutes, the vaccine talk was in there. He looks like crap though now. Yeah, I mean, modern lifestyle, usually Wi-Fi, poor diet, chemicals, pollutants, deteriorates a lot of people. I hit you with 20 a few live streams ago and you shaded me. I mean, I'll probably be able to find it because we get like one donation per live stream. Um, I think you might have just left. Even though I may disagree with you on some things, I still think your heart is in the right place, and making quality food available to the public is a respectable pursuit. Love you, bro. Yeah, I mean, people just get irritated that I'm right a lot of the time, and since I'm on screen just talking by myself, trying to entertain people, it's not as much of a back and forth conversation as it would normally be. Brendan Fraser is Tarzan. That was probably it. Finnish men in Lapland are very strong facial features. Well, I've never been to Lapland, and I've never seen pictures of them, so I would assume they have some high animal food consumption from either seafood or dairy. How do you believe the Earth was created, or you don't know? Again, a lot of these things people bring up, the history, the past, all that type of stuff. It doesn't really matter because you have to you have to kind of simplify things and say, all right, what's the most important thing right now? And for me, that's why I'm trying to provide people with quality food, is because the reason I was able to discover this stuff and become more intelligent is when I improved my diet and lifestyle. And if people are and there's a reason elite people eat good food and they're in good environments and they go for walks and they're in the wild. And there's the reason they're setting up a system for people to be radiated and poisoned. And if that's happening, people cannot think properly. I remember the last time I went to a restaurant last year, and I ate a bunch of crappy food that probably had bad shit in it. Um, the feedlot meat. Oh no, that was when I went to Fogo de Chao, and I ate a bunch of farmed salmon and a shitty low quality prosciutto, and I had a bunch of feedlot meat, and I couldn't think for 3 days. My brain was fucking fried. Have you considered getting a farm in another country? Guys, I'm broke. Like, I don't have money. Like, if I could, that's why I talk shit about people like Joe Rogan that have $15 million mansions, because I can't even afford, I don't even have a few $100,000 to put on a down payment for a farm to provide people with quality food. And these people are lining their fucking pockets to buy mansions. So, if I had the money, I don't even have the money to buy a farm here, let alone in another country. Think about trying out the way you're selling, but whenever I drink protein shakes back when I was younger, they wouldn't sit well in my stomach. No, well then don't. We have plenty of products that aren't whey protein, and we're hopefully going to have some other products too that more people can tolerate. Why do some tall people have straight teeth but narrow face? It has to do with that basically means that they got proper nutrition during younger developmental stages, but not not enough in older in, when they grew older. Like I just provided is a guy that calls out bullshit in nutrition and health industry and said Gerolsteiner was tested to actually be natural. It had bacteria and stuff in it. I haven't been drinking Pellegrino for a while. You know your name in Gematria is serpent. Well, the problem is there's all different types of Gematria, and the point is, does the Gematria meaning of the person's name make sense? You know, for Joe Biden being end prophecy and for Kamala Harris being second coming, it's kind of fucking ridiculous because Kamala Harris is the vice president, the second coming. Joe Biden is the end prophecy to fulfill whatever's going to go on with this new world order. He's part of the end prophecy. Kamala Harris is the second coming. I don't listen. It makes sense. Is it what's absolutely definitely going to happen? I don't make those bets. Are braces required? Yeah, usually you have to get braces to have double jaw surgery. So you usually have braces for about 2 to 3 years before uh, you get the surgery. Frank Tefano and Gematria means Serpent Lord. I mean, technically, that you could spin that in a truthful way, where all these cuck little pussy secret society members need to bow down to me and copy my information. So you know, if Rat Boy is a serpent, technically I'm the Serpent Lord, then, right? Bunch of fucking morons. Frank isn't Slytherin. I rewatched Harry Potter like 2 months ago, and I couldn't just stop thinking about the gender inversion stuff. Kamala Harris put a lot of innocent men in jail just for saying hi to women because she's jealous that she was born a dude and can't actually get any dudes. She has to pay fucking ugly dudes to have hideouts. If I could say what I wanted to say on YouTube and I wasn't censored, we'd have some fun. Gematria is Jewish. What's the technical definition of gematria? I think saying gematria is Jewish is a gross simplification. It's an alphanumeric code of assigning a numeric value to a name, word, or phrase based on its letters. Gematria originated as an Assyro-Babylonian Greek system of alphanumeric code or cipher that was later adopted into Jewish culture. So no, it comes from the Babylonians, which is where the original like trans worshiping came from, and then the Jewish people adopted it. So they're just you're trying to blanket blame the Jews for everything, which I don't think is true. That's harassment. Saying someone can't find a partner is harassment because they're ugly. How do you explain the traits those Italians developed? Would your day they evolved? What are the specs on the stock tires for the new Corolla? I don't know what if those questions did not compute in my head tonight. Why are fictional TV shows and movies now putting Corolla episodes or skits in? What happened to entertainment media at least being distracted for a little while? Because they have to play the part. Monster Energy logo? Yeah, that's an obvious symbolism logo. If you want to point out logos for symbolism, just point out all the fucking car logos. You don't even have to. We do this like every other live stream. Until I go completely broke, I still have a dollar bill on me. It's I don't know if I can get this in focus. Annuit coptis, Novus ordo seclorum. Annuit coptis. Actually, the bottom Novus Ordo Seclorum means New Order of the Ages, aka New World Order. So Novus Ordo Seclorum means New Order of the Ages, aka New World Order. Annuit Coptis means He approves our undertaking. And the eye on the pyramid is probably symbolism for some type of special magnetic energy coming from those pyramids. I don't know. And then the eagle is symbolism for the phoenix. And a phoenix is a mythological creature that every several hundred years burns into ashes and is reborn anew. So in a way, the United States of America is a phoenix, and it's supposed to be burned into ashes and reborn anew. Like, you don't have to, like, if you just point out what's on the fucking single dollar bill, like, that should be enough to debunk stuff. All right, guys, we've been going about 10 minutes longer than we usually do, so we'll wrap this up in a few minutes. I got to film tomorrow's video, and I got to do a bunch of stuff. The pyramid is a hierarchy of the elites. The eye on the top is the devil. Well, it's the Eye of Horus. Let me look that up. It's the Eye of Horus, which is... I mean, again, the point is that this stuff goes back to thousands of years to Egyptian times. That's what these people are worshiping. Jesus is Osiris in the Egyptian. People celebrating the elections need to watch Bohemian Grove. I mean, listen, there's a bunch of avenues to wake people up, but the most convincing one is, you go up to the average person. Hey, you know how people always talk about connections all the time. You know how you ever wonder why some people are rich and all have all the connections, and people generally say yeah, and like, oh well, like the elite people and that they're basically in a club together. They're in secret societies. And once you introduce the idea of secret societies to people, that people have connections, explaining the reason why some people haven't been as successful as they could be, and that those secret societies share secrets and share success with each other, then you open people up to the idea that those elite people, those secret societies, are working together to take advantage and control the rest of the public. And all this other stuff opens up. Like, okay, where do their ideas come from? Why did they invert their genders? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? There's loose explanations behind everything that makes sense. Any collabs coming? No. Not to my knowledge. Do Freemasons have orgies together? I mean, they probably have some pretty crazy fucking parties. Illuminati parties. Bunch of hot trans girls dressed up with each. I mean, very possible. A lot of fun that you're not invited to, but who cares? To answer your question, do Freemasons have orgies together? It's probably a bunch of dudes. If you're into like Illuminatis, probably have more fun. They got the hotter people. To me, the best proof all of this system is set up is the sheer amount of transgenders everywhere in media and government. Yeah, no, that is a big deal because every news station, the female news reporter is a dude in a dress, and the male meteorologist is a female in a suit. But another minute or two, guys, we'll wrap this up. How long will this election go on for? I saw back when Al Gore was against Bush, they said Al Gore was president for like, they kept saying for 40. This could go on for another month or two. How do you even know Satan is evil? If God is omnipotent and controls everything, Satan can't do this without the permission of God. I mean, is forcing a child to stab another child to death evil? I don't think that's a philosophical question, buddy. I think that's a very simple question. My opinion is Satan is not evil. He is testing us by playing as an adversary. You're correct, but it's not a fair fucking game. It's not a fair fucking game if it's rigged in their favor. They don't play, but they twist the rules. They're twisting the rules. Orders of the Eastern Star probably have crazy orgies. Manly, muscular guys, Freemasons versus cute, feminine, trans girls, Illuminati. Take your pick. That's actually a very funny generalization of the Masons versus the Illuminati. I don't think that's a correct generalization, but I think you would be right in saying that most trans people are probably in the Illuminati, and that most old hairy dudes are probably in the Masonry. If China owns Hollywood, why aren't there more Asian actors, actresses in Hollywood? Well, they have their own movies in their own countries. How did you find the video about the child stabbing? We showed it on another live stream. I found it on a forum. It was a video. I'd have to look in my YouTube. I could probably find it in my YouTube history real quick. Give me a second. Oh man, maybe it's not gonna show up. Hold on. Which account am I on? Let me switch accounts. Freemason. No, I can't find it. I have to. We talked about it maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Are organ supplements coming back? I'm trying my best. I was supposed to get some organ powders in, and the company I was purchasing from did not give my correct phone number or email address to DHL. So DHL basically held the package for 2 weeks, then sent it back to New Zealand because I didn't pay the custom duties on it, which is partially my fault for not reaching out to DHL sooner. But they're going to have to resend it, and hopefully it comes sooner than later. I mean, those supplement assholes put me in a tough spot. Basically, I'm out 6 months revenue of selling supplements because some fucking dirtbags didn't care about my business. So I'm not too worried about it. Hopefully we get the organ supplements sooner than later, and get people, the end goal is always get people supplements and products that can help them improve their well-being. But that'll be it for today, guys. So I'll see you for tomorrow's video. We'll do another live stream on Thursday at 8 p.m. I mean, most of these live streams, we generally talk about the same stuff, but it's becoming more concise. And is Charlie D a male or trans? Those are very difficult ones to tell. I don't really want to talk about that. But I'll see you guys on